Is it here? Well, it kind of sort of is. The open beta for 4.0 Phoenix has landed, and it brings a very much work in progress version of the coming update of Stellaris. Now, I'm going to give you a huge disclaimer before we go in, because we're going to go through all the bells and whistles that is on this. This is a work in progress. The UI is very much not ready, and you will see shortly why that is the case. It's a mixed match of all the new and all the old stuff. Some of the old stuff is still in there. Some of the performance things haven't been properly applied yet, so be aware of that. There's also a link in the description down below where you can find a thread about this so you can join the beta yourself as well. So be aware of that. Let's dive in. We're playing with the United Nations of Earth because it's one of the few factions that currently works with the beta, because there's a lot of things that need to be adjusted before everything works. So, with that in mind, let's go to Earth. All right, welcome to the brand new planetary screen. As you can see, the UI is a mess because stuff is still over here, not down here, and all of that sort of stuff. And you can see that things are a bit of a mess. So, we've got the new districts, we have the zones. I can add a new zone right now if I wanted to. As you can see, it's all very pink, and apparently in the early industrial zone it's not very good. But basically, all these descriptions and definers are still all a work in progress, but it gives you a good idea of what the end goal is, and that's to make the system a little bit better understandable and a bit more realistic when it comes to the pop perspective, but also improve performance. As you can see right now, we've got 5,228 pops on this planet. And of those pops, we've got a bunch of unemployment and a bunch of other issues. Now, how would we even resolve that? Well, we got our new population tab here. Well, new, he says, different population tab. And as you can see, there's all of these jobs in here, as well as the new civilian group, but that's a whole different can of worms. But as you can see, we can apply pops to these particular areas with these wonderful new sliders where we can say, okay, I want to have new miners and that sort of thing. So basically at this point in time, what is happening is that I have all of my jobs filled and I've got an overflow of pops, and because of that, everything's full. I don't need to min-max anything on our population sliders. You don't need to do this in-game at all if you don't want to. This is more a thing that you would do if you want to do a little bit more focused stuff within the game. But there's a whole bunch of stuff going on here in terms of like, hey, how do we deal with things? Guys, right now, we got a bunch of unemployed pops down here, and we probably want them to work. Okay, how do we do that? Well, if you go back to the planetary summary, we could add a zone if we wanted to. And we should probably do so. But do we have the resources for this? Well, normally what we would add in Stellaris 3.0 or any of the previous versions, at the first thing, I would add a research zone, which is exactly what we're doing. It will impact our consumer good production, but that's fine. So right now we've got a research zone. The time, ignore the time, it's not balanced at all, but immediately we have a research zone, and all of a sudden all of those pops should now have jobs. Okay, there's no longer any unemployment. We go to our population, all of a sudden we've got a bunch more science population available. So for instance, now we can apply more pops here. Again, stuff's still pretty darn broken. There's not much that we can do about it. But for instance, we got these laborers. They've now moved from their normal worker jobs into the specialist jobs as you would normally have within the game. So that's pretty exciting. Then there is the management tab. This is basically stuff that used to be on the planetary summary tab. We're just going to go ahead and get a planetary slums. We can get 100 pops from this. That's a reasonable chunk. And whilst all that stuff is going on, we also, of course, have the armies tab. Nothing has changed here. Holdings tab. Nothing has changed here. But in order to illustrate, for instance, the changes in the UI that are not finished yet, if you want to upgrade things, you don't hit the plus button on the districts. No, you have to go into the district icon and then press build. So that's a thing. So that's pretty crazy. What's also pretty crazy, if you go to the top bar here, is that trade has joined the fray of normal resources that you can collect. If you go into the market, you will now see that you have a trade stockpile that you can use in order to buy and sell resources. So for instance, right now I got a lot of food. So if I sell 500, I will get a bunch of trade stockpile. that is great. And I can use that to buy any particular resource within the game, including energy, the resource that was being used previously in order to buy these resources. So now trade is a thing. As you can see, is the trade map mode a thing anymore? No, it is not. That's a real shame. I really like the concept of the trade map mode. So that's unfortunate. We're just going to go ahead and get the discovery going. Science, all that stuff, nothing has changed there. Planetary unification, planetary build speed. Oh, let's go for the worker power exoskeletons. That's always good. But yeah, right now we've got a bunch of amenity problems. All that issues needs to be dealt with in the future. But yeah, it's a good indication of that stuff is happening. So, what else has been changed here? Well, right now I'm waiting for Alpha Centauri to be surveyed so we can show a really cool thing, but there's also the Empire focus. So what is the Empire focus? Well, if we have the Empire focus, we can basically say, do we want to focus on exploration, on conquest, or development? And every single one of these basically says, hey, we want to change our focus on something. Like right now, we want to do fighting. We want to unlock fighting stuff. Okay, that's fine. We want to unlock the progression stuff. Well, right now we want to do exploration, so that's fine. And then there is this Empire. There's like a bunch of progression. So, for instance, if we hit 100 points in exploration, we will get automated exploration protocols as a technology that we can research. In tier 2, we get exotic material labs and that sort of thing, all the way down to tier 10, where we get jump drive. If we get conquest, it's similar, but it's existential campaigns, battleships, and all that stuff. And on the development side, mega engineering is under development. I did not even see that. All right, cool. You can get mega engineering if you beeline on development. Now, a lot of these things you will already do by default. But if you want to get exploration done really quickly, what we could do in this particular case is we need to hire a scientist and an official. So we're just going to go ahead and hire a scientician. So we'll just hire you. There you go. And a official. We don't have the unity for it, but that is fine. Let's just take a look here. And as you can see here, hire scientist is now been completed. And that is now done. And then we get 10 additional points all the way up to our exploration side of things. Alpha Centauri still has not been surveyed. That is really annoying. I really wish these scientists would hurry up so that we can get stuff going here. But yeah, that is a very interesting new system that is coming in. You don't necessarily have to do a lot with this stuff. If you're not a new player, all of this stuff will go automatically anyway. But if you want to beeline some of these things, focusing on some of this stuff could be really interesting. Let me go and get this star base underway. Now let's get Chartia node in there. But yeah, overall, from a flow perspective, everything is very, very similar to what we had
Construction
before.
completed.
So, for instance, we just got the research labs. We'll get that up and running in their own research zone. Again, from a UI perspective, this is all super shoddy at the moment, so don't worry too much about that. However, we still need more pops. But in order to get more pops, we probably need to spread our wings a little bit as a society. So what can we do to do that? Well, we can go ahead and colonize Alpha Centauri. So Alpha Centauri is over here. It's a beautiful world, a natural world. We could colonize it. We select our species. We need a little bit more of this here stuff in order to do so. There we go. So we go and do so, and we know exactly what kind of a planet this is. This is a mineral-based world. It's got 5 mineral slots. We can designate this planet as a mining world. Turn on a planetary automation, and everything will take care of itself. Now, obviously, this is some of our first worlds. We're not going to go and automate this stuff, but yeah, we're going to go ahead and colonize this world for the greater glory of our species. There we go. Let's just do that. And now we will send off our colony ship. It will get built, obviously, as we would normally do, but we will have the ability to automatically set a designation. And if you wanted to get it, completely automated as well. A ruined sentry array in this system. And that is very cool. Let's get the research alternatives going. That's always nice. But yeah, overall, like the overall experience for this update should be quite interesting. as some of you may feel that this is a
Situation
way
log
too early
has
to
been
play with.
updated.
And I could just totally understand that. Because
Research
the
concluded.
UI, the UX is still a bit clunky, and over the next few weeks, stuff like this is going to improve. For instance, it's not very clear to me right now why I have scum and villainy on my planets. Why there is so much crime. It's probably because the amenities are so low. How do I improve the amenities? I do not know at this moment in time because, well, I could do hollow theaters, which would improve the a bunch of other stuff, but yeah, it's not very clear on what's going on. So I could get entertainers, so I would go to my population, and then it's because we have 0 enforcers. Yeah, that's a problem. So we could just remove the amount of engineers that we have. And just max this out. No, I just need 100. So I just need... This should be fine, right? That should be enough in order to... There you
Knowledge
go.
is the...
So these guys will now start joining the engineering core. So that should all be good. We could, of course, you know, split this out a little bit because otherwise we're going to have unemployment issues and job availability and all that stuff. But right now we could, for instance, also say, okay, all of this stuff is fine. We want to prioritize enforcers, though. How long would it take for that to start filling up? It's not very clear. Okay, well, let's just do it like this, and then
A new
enforcers should be
world of
prioritized.
opportunities awaits.
All right, cool. We got a new planet. So what does that mean? Well, it means that we can build a new zone, hopefully at some point. Again, everything is still super clunky over here, so it's nothing that we can really do things with. We're still colonizing the world, so we can't actually enable any of this stuff. Can we remove tile blockers if we wanted to, like we could previously? Probably. But yeah, it's all very much work in progress. And like I said, if you do not like to play with work in progress stuff, don't go into the beta. Just keep an eye on the channel and see how things have been going. So yeah, pops and pop groups have been changed quite dramatically. Planetary UI is definitely not finished. The Empire focuses and timeline is there. The trade is there. And the main help button now displays the databank. Okay, so there's a help button. This is a new databank screen. This will basically allow you to find any sort of details about what everything does. It's basically an extension of the tooltip system. So for instance, let's say I want to learn about minerals. So I want to learn about minerals. Let's just pause you for a second. So minerals cover the basic resources within the game. And you can then go to all these other tabs. It's very similar to, say, for instance, the like the Civlopedia from the Civ games, right? It allows you to very quickly navigate between things in order to figure out what's going on. And of course, a lot of this stuff is also available on different screens. So for instance, if you have a tooltip somewhere, we could probably find these sort of details somewhere. So we got a science ship. So science ships. Cool. We now know more about science ships. We now know about war. This is a lot of localization they got to do. I do not envy them. I definitely do not envy the localization team. But yeah, a lot of cool stuff that is going on there. Let's take a quick look at our Empire focus. We need to hire a commander, and we need to build a mining station. So that should not be too difficult. We should be able to build a mining station relatively quickly. And we should probably be able to get another construction ship. There you go. Let's get automated exploration protocols. So we have automated exploration protocols as a research option right now. And normally what would happen here is we would be able to get automated exploration protocols as our tier 1 reward, I believe. Yeah, there it is. But I can already science it right now. So I'm not entirely sure whether or not this is going to be removed or not, or whether or not it's only going to pop up once you have access to the technology. But you can, in the current beta, at least get it naturally without even having to interact with the system to begin with. So that's cool. You know, that's different. Like, it gives you an option to get access to certain technologies earlier than expected. Hire an official. Let's see if we can actually do this very quickly. Let's just give ourselves some resources. So we got 100 E here. So build a mining station is done. We have 100,000 minerals. All that stuff is now being done automatically. So we need to hire a commander and hire an official. We should have the resources for it, so that shouldn't be too difficult. So hire a leader. There we go. We'll hire a commander. There we go. So that should be automatically added here. Find an archaeologist, build a research, investigate an anomaly. So let's do instance
Construction
build.
completed.
So that should be done. Because of this stuff, we should be able to rotate this out. Yes, we can. So improve a relationship. Okay, we can do this for another year. Investigate an anomaly. Have I done any anomaly researching yet? Build a mining district. Okay, that should be relatively... Oh, we already did that. Okay, so that should be relatively easy. So let's get a mining district up and running. So that's now done. So this is just to illustrate our point here. So
Knowledge is the key to the universe.
okay, so we can't do these at the moment because we haven't done them, but we haven't done a research agreement. Let me just fast forward to a point where we actually have access to this. All right, it took a little bit of finagling, but there it is. We got a focus that is upgraded now, which means that we now should have access to the first tier of progression reward, which we do. We also got a specimen out of it, which is always nice. Let's take a look. Do we now have access to it? Because, well, probably not, because I've already researched it. But yeah, I guess it's just a way of rewarding players with how to go down certain routes and doing certain things and giving them access to technologies that may or may not be interesting within the grand scheme of things. Like, for instance, cruisers. Maybe if you focus on conquest and you may not have the development that goes that well, then all of a sudden you don't get that progression. Specifically on the development side of things, if you want mega engineering, which has a bit of a difficult drop rate, to say the least, this may actually be super useful in order to get mega engineering at a reasonable pace. Similar for the for conquest and exploration, getting that jump drive, because clearly you want to bring the unbidden into the galaxy, is a great way of dealing with this sort of thing. And again, if you're a new player, it gives you some goals. You know, I need to finish a special project to get some points, you know, for my progression. And it will probably change the flow of the game quite a bit. And for those players that are a little bit more advanced and they're seeing certain technologies and like, okay, yeah, I would like to have 25% survey bonus to my ship and make my explorers go a little bit faster, that could be a good way of dealing with it. But yeah, that's a generalized overview of the 3.99.0 beta that is currently open for you to explore. Pops, pop groups, planetary UI, empire focuses, trade revamping, and of course the help button with the databank down here. How very exciting. It's still so hidden. I don't think anybody is going to ever click it, but it's the sentiment is cool, I guess. We're going to go ahead and wrap it up here. If you want to get involved in the beta, feel free to go to the description. There should be a link over there for you to go and explore. If you don't want to, and you feel that it's probably a little bit too early, next week and the week afterwards, and God knows for how long, the beta will still be up and running and will be a work in progress. The developers are doing this purely to get feedback from players in a reasonable fashion. And yeah, we'll see how it all will progress. In the meantime, we're going to go wrap it up here. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, take good care of yourselves. And as always, each other.